No more Kermit the Frog jokes. No more It Ain't Easy Being Green. That's right. It's time for the finale of the 50 Shades of Green project. Before I get started, I'm going to ask you to please do all of the things. You know what they are. Okay, so this is the third round of the 50 Shades project that I believe was started by Jessica, Amanda, and Cece. They do this in collaboration with the Fantastic Ladies, and they have let us vote on the colors that we would like to see in the project. So they've opened it up to all of us in the group. I'm going to link the Fantastic Ladies down below along with all the other pertinent information. This project runs April 15th to April 15th. There is going to be a new round. I am not participating in it. I'm traveling during this time, and so it's just a little bit too hard for me to do. And I did it very strangely this year because I did it once in Minnesota because of the way my travel schedule worked. I was home there when it started, and then I started again for a second half when I came here. To that end, that means there are several things that were not completed, and I'm okay with that. I am. I got a lot done in Minnesota, and I think I hit my 50 goal there. And I got some more things done here, and a lot of things worked on. So we're going to get into what all of that is. The hashtag for this is the numbers 50 shades of green. PP, I think. I don't what. It'll be in the title. You'll have found it. Okay, so with what I have here and what I've completed, I actually have finished off my Naturium niacinamide serum, 12% plus zinc 2%. Never remember that. I love this serum, and my skin does like niacinamide. I know that it's something that you can't use too much because it can clog things, or everything out there can have an adverse reaction. This is one of the things my skin does like. So since I've run out of this, I am not currently using it, but I figured that would give my skin a break, and then I can reincorporate it back into my routine later. And this stuff is actually available at Target, so it's easy to find. If you are a niacinamide person, I actually recommend this. It's good stuff. All right. I also, of course, do have a Bath and Body Works for you. I did manage to get rid of one of these. This is the Vanilla Verbena Body Wash and Foam Bath. This is a 10 ounce. It's part of the aromatherapy line. It is for relaxing. And you've seen me finish one of these in Minnesota too. This one wasn't full, but it's completed, and we're going to just take that empty because I didn't get a whole lot of them. All right. Then I have got the last of the Nicole Miller hand creams. This one was the lilac, and by far, surprise, surprise, lilac is my favorite scent. So I adore this one, and I milked it for all it was worth. It's a very, very thin hand cream, very much on the watery side. It's not anything that's a thick moisturizing hand cream, but they're handy to have around in a pinch, and when you're really dry and you just need something that's not going to take 10 minutes to absorb, this is not a bad thing. And it was, I don't know, Ross, TJ Maxx, Marshall, somewhere that I had found this at. So they have now been completed. And then I have got the Eva NYC Therapy Session Hair Mask. I just had a travel size, and I liked it. I like a lot of the Eva NYC products. This is definitely something that I would consider again. I think it worked just fine, and it had a good smell. Didn't mind it at all. Okay, I had one remaining candle, you guys. And of course it was my fresh cut lilacs because there were some green here on the pretty imaging. So you can see it didn't burn evenly, but this is not even a surprise to us anymore, you guys. Love the smell. Absolutely love it. Okay, then we have a couple of makeup things where I hit goals. And trust me, I didn't hit a ton of makeup goals, but I did get to complete my goal for the LA Girl Shockwave Metallic Eyeliner in GP752 Dragon. And of course I don't have a wipeout here, but why would I? Because that would just make sense. So that's Dragon. It is a lovely green. And as far as metallic goes, I mean, there's a little bit of shimmer to it, but not anything that makes it like a glimmering one. I do have some eyeliners that do actually have almost like a glitter to them. This really doesn't, but it's a very nice eyeliner. And then I had this Avon quad in. This is one of the True Color eyeshadow quads. This is in the Color Story Emerald cut, and it's a little bit of a mess. Okay, yes, there's a mirror. Let's not blind everybody. The top shade is just a very, very fun cream shade. And then that second one is a pink that is quite lovely. They are, I guess they're shimmers. 3 out of the 4 are shimmers. The third, a kind of olivey color, has a shimmer to it, and then this forest color is a good solid matte. This is getting old. It's not something that was tremendously expensive to begin with. It's powdery. It's whatever. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world that I've ever used, and it works just fine. And I actually really do like the top 2 shades, which of course are not the green ones. I love greens, but this combo with that pink works really well for me as that being kind of the transition color, and then having, or even the crease color, and then having the other greens in there. So I did meet my usage goal on these 2 things. They'll roll back into my collection. I'm very happy that I got a chance to do that. Now, there's only a couple of things that I'm going to talk about that I just didn't get to because they're stupid things. And I just blanked. So I still have the Amika the Cure. I don't know how I forgot it. And a Deva Curl. And literally, I had forgotten about them. That's why they didn't get completed. It happens. What can I say? There are some other things that at least I do have a little bit of movement on, so I can show you some of the things that I was working on. There are several things that I didn't even touch, and I just thought, I don't care. I still got through plenty of stuff. So in addition to that, Vanilla Verbena shower gel was the body lotion. And honestly, I could make a new line, but it's not even worth it. There's still, I mean, you got this much of the bottle left. It's still darn near full. This went from 431.8 grams to 418.1. I know, not a lot of movement, but that's okay. It's always good to have a vanilla lotion around. The Vanilla Verbena isn't as sweet as the Vanilla Bean Noel by any stretch, and it's long discontinued anyway. So I'll just use it here and there when I need an extra lotion. Excuse me, there is one that I didn't bring out here, and that is because I had the perfect Peony body cream in the full size from Bath & Body Works, but I had a miniature of the shower gel and the spray I used separately. So I had finished those 2 things, but I didn't try and complete the lotion because I figured I would rather have it when I do that second 3-out shower gel, because I do like layering my scents. So I didn't weigh that to give you a new measurement, but I did use some of it along the course of the time here. Then the next thing that I have, now I actually have to go down the list so I can get my numbers right. I have a bottle of hand soap. This is the Cotton and Freesia. And okay, we're literally like this far down already. So I've gotten good use on it. This is the one that's currently in my bathroom. I just didn't finish it in the allotted time. It'll get finished when I get back, whatever. Yeah, I don't think I'll finish it before I go. So that one went from its starting point at 318.3 grams to 195.5 grams. So, and as you can see, we got over half of it used. So that's, I like it. It kind of has a clean laundry scent. So it's not overly floral from the Freesia. Then there were a bunch of hair things that I didn't forget, thank goodness, like the other ones. How do you miss foil samples? Seriously. But that I didn't get completed. So the Not Your Mother's Honey and Melon Leave-In Conditioner. Okay, Royal Honey and Kalahari Desert Melon. That's what it is. It was just a traveler size bottle that I had gotten as a promo thing. And I'm almost done, but not quite. So this went from 69.1 grams to 29.5 grams. So there's a little bit left down in the bottom, and I've been working on it, and I can't see through it to tell if, but I think it's like around here, maybe? I don't know. Still sprays. I still use it. It's fine. I wouldn't rebuy it. It's not enough for me. I use that in addition to the Way, which is a much thicker. This is almost more of, it's thicker than hairspray, but it still has that watery consistency. And I do have some products that I use like that, which are better for detanglers and things like that, which is primarily why I prefer them, where this is a leave-in conditioner. So it really doesn't help a lot with the detangling for me. So there's no purpose for it in my hair care routine, but that is not to say it's a bad product. It just doesn't, if you have problematic hair, this is not the one you want to grab. That's all. If you have normal hair, it's probably great. The other thing is that I had this Dry Bar Detox Dry Shampoo. I don't know if that's focusing or not. But this went from 65.5 grams to 32.2, and this is getting down there too. I mean, I've been using it. The thing that I did not realize is that this is coconut colada, and if you look at the nozzle, you can see that there's that little bit of tan, and I'm trying to do this with the overhead light so you can still see it. I'm so gray and white in here that a lot of times when I use this, my hair will actually end up darker. It's like I haven't had that hair color in years since I bought it. It's a good product. It's fine. I like the cheap hair leave-in or dry shampoos too. So I wouldn't rush out and buy this again, and I would certainly not buy this color again since it makes my hair darker than what it now is, but it does the trick. I don't know. It's fine. Okay, then I've also got the Not Your Mother's Matcha Green Tea and Wild Apple Blossom Ultimate Nutrition Butter Mask. See, I have it in front of me, so I finally got the whole name in there. Now, this, okay, this is really hard to see. You can see that I have used some. I'm trying to get you some side views so you can see that I am down there a bit. So I'd say maybe I've used about a third of it, maybe only a quarter. But I was using other things along the way too. This is definitely Holy Grail status. I mean, this is a good one, and for the price, you really can't beat it. Everybody else raves about it, and so for everyone else who has raved, thank you, because that's how I found it. I do love it. It's just, like I said, I had another one, and there was something else I had used. There was a few things along the way that I have used. So that one will remain in my life. Okay, then you guys have seen this once, and then never again, because I barely used it. Because I switched to Celebrate. This is another Onyx Bathhouse. This is Bunny Ribbit. It smells great. Fine, whatever. This was another one I picked up on clearance. It's a spring flower one, basically. And this is, I don't know what these were. Originally, I got it for $3.50, so I tried it. This got pushed aside for Celebrate for the Day of the Dead because I put it in that project. And I don't go through them that quickly. So this one is unfortunately going to sit around until I get around to finishing the other one and get to it. Now, let's see. What else have I got on the list that I didn't? There was one perfume that I completely skipped. All the candles were done. Okay, so I guess that does kind of bring me to makeup. Now, there were a few other things that I had finished along the way, and you had seen those throughout the months. One of the ones that I did not finish, this is the LA Girl Shockwave Neon Eyeliner. This is in GP 736 Fresh. Now, I put these things in for 6 uses. This one I actually only got 3. This one is a little bit harder. I mean, it's a mint green. And because of the way that I use eyeliners underneath, it's a little bit jarring. I mean, that's a fairly bright color. So I have used it a few times, but I did not get all 6 uses. It's just going to roll back into my collection. There's nothing wrong with it. It just kind of has to go with a certain look. So like forcing it didn't really work for me. I just don't like doing my makeup that way. And then we have got, I had the blushes, and the Dandelion blush from Benefit I had finished. This one I didn't do a whole lot with. This is the Physicians Formula blush in Rosy. It's one of the butter blushes. This is one of the ones that didn't have all of the packaging. And it's fine. It's nice. It's lovely. It's just, I didn't, okay, you can't even see that, really. It blends with my skin very well. It's a very good color for me. I just didn't get to use it all that much. I only used it 4 times. Not a thing wrong with it. Definitely. If it's a shade that works for you, absolutely, I'd recommend it. Those things last forever. So, good blush. All right. So I finished the Avon, but what I did not finish for the eyeshadows, I have a couple, and one of them is the Pat McGrath. Jeez Louise, why don't my hands ever work when I'm doing this? This is the Eye Ecstasy in Sublime eyeshadow palette, and I had put it in to use the first shade here, Sinful, because it's kind of that green gold, and it's okay, I've got blush on that finger. It looks like a gold, but there is such a green hue to it that I put it in, and I did get a couple of uses. Is there fallout? Absolutely. That's what everyone complained about with these little cheapy ones, basically. But there's some good colors in here too. So I didn't get all of my uses. I only got 3 out of the 6. But that's another one because it's gold. I mean, that still got a lot of gold to it. That's a certain kind of look for me too, with my pinks and my purples all the time. The only other thing that I didn't get to, which I set an exceptionally stupid ambitious goal on this one, I don't, in my head, I was thinking, oh yeah, if I use it this many times each month, then at 6 months it'll be this. Yeah, no, the world doesn't work that way for me. I kept putting more things into projects and it just kind of got left on the wayside quite a bit. I did actually use this 8 times. This is an Old Mary Kay shade. This is in olive. And it is old and it is getting drier. It is literally a lovely olive green color. I mean, there is not a thing wrong with it. Um, it's a color that honestly is really a good green for someone as pale and cool toned as me. I can put that with pinks and it grounds really well. It is a fantastic color. And that's why I was thinking that I would get more use out of it than I did. And that's why I put it in for the idiotic goal of 24 uses when I got, 8. So I did get to use that one a touch more. And quite often I did it, even use it with this quad. So not bad overall. I don't think you can get that anymore either. Okay. Oh goodness. I've got stuff all over the place now. So I do believe that is everything that I had in the project. Thank you for all of you who joined with me this year, because this was the first year that I got to do it. I truly do appreciate you sticking around and, letting me go through some of these products and giving me all the encouragement that you did. It was very, very kind. And it really was helpful too, knowing that you guys were saying, hey, no, you did get so many done. You are doing well and you're making progress. And I know every use is a use. So with my size of a collection, every use counts. So thank you so much for all of your support with that. And now what we're going to do is we are going to move on to the music moment, because what can I say? I missed the first 2 years. This is the only year I've done. I'm not doing the next one. Hopefully I'll be able to pick this up in the future with another color, because I did enjoy this project. I will try not to be so absolutely insane and put in over 100 items in the project, but I can't guarantee I will do that either. You never know with me. So I thought, in honor of this originally being 50 Shades of Pink, and because it's the Fantastic Ladies, and I decided I was going to pick Pretty in Pink, this song from the motion picture soundtrack. So, we're going to talk about this a little bit. This song is by the Psychedelic Furs, and I want to get the year right on this because this was written before the movie. The movie is named after the song, but oddly enough, they made them re-record the song for the soundtrack. I don't know what John Hughes was doing, but this is what he wanted to do. So this song, it came out on the 86 version of the Pretty in Pink soundtrack, but the original was from their album Talk, 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 and that's not the one I want. All right. No, wait, hold on. Okay. So originally, oh my goodness. I want to say it was 1981, and now I can't find it. But anyway, so it is on the 86 soundtrack. Like I said, it was originally written for another album, and John Hughes liked it, ended up naming the movie after it. The song itself, despite the movie being named after it, doesn't have the same theme. And the song is really, really pretty. I mean, it's a really good song, and it's a little bit deceptive. If you go and you read the lyrics, if you read what the band has said about the song and then read the lyrics, the band has said that yes, it is about a woman who is, perhaps we should say, promiscuous, but it's kind of also about her attitude about it. It's not just, it talks about like all of the guys who leave her behind and don't think of her again after that. But then there's a point too where she's stepping up and has ownership of some of that. So when the writers talk about this song, they talk about the duality of all of that, of the attitude, of like her viewpoint versus how others view her when they talk about her behind her back, but how she sees herself. So there's some interesting stuff in there. And the main character of the song is Caroline. So Not even close to the main character of the movie, whose name was Andy. This is one of a lot of really good songs on this soundtrack. You've got, I can find this because this I do have pulled up. The soundtrack includes not only this song by Pretty in Pink, there's an In Excess song in here. The closing credits, the song there is If You Leave by OMD, which is Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. And that became the biggest hit off of this. So that was kind of cool because it gave OMD a really good hit. The Psychedelic Furs have had other songs and have had other hits. So this was not like it was a make or break thing for them. So it was kind of cool that OMD did so well with it. This was voted like Rolling Stone's number 11 movie all-time soundtrack or something like that. So I mean, the soundtrack itself has gotten accolades. You've got a song by Suzanne Vega, who was quite popular at the time, with Joe Jackson. Now, Joe Jackson is established in and of his own right, and there's a couple of songs, Stepping Out and Is She Really Going Out With Him, are the two that, if you know Joe Jackson, those are the ones you're probably going to know, because they were very, very popular hits for him, and they're great songs. So there's that. We've got New Order on here. This song, as far as like New Order's catalog goes, they had hits well beyond this. This didn't like make or break them either. The song by Danny Hutton Hitters is Wouldn't It Be Good? I don't know anything else about the band other than this song, but this is a really good song also from this soundtrack. And then you've got Echo and the Bunnymen. If this whole thing, a lot of the John Hughes stuff in general is that 80s era. So it's that 80s sound. And I mean, we're talking about some seriously big names from that time frame. And Echo and the Bunnymen are one of those that are very much that distinctive alternative, new wave, whatever sound. So Bring on the Dancing Horses, once again, didn't like become their biggest hit or anything like that. They're known better for other stuff also. But one of my top 3 of all time Smiths songs, and if you're an 80s child, you know the Smiths, you know about Morrissey, you know all that, is really one of the shortest songs that the Smiths catalog has. And it's Please, Please, Please Let Me Get What I Want. It is beautiful. It is haunting. And I don't know of anybody else who has redone that song as well. This literally is one of my all-time favorite Smiths songs. And it's another heart-wrenching one for me. You know how I pick these things where they speak to me? That one is one of them. The things that are not on this soundtrack that are surprising are Ducky slides into the record store where Andy and Iona are working and lip syncs to Otis Redding. Oh man, why do that? I can't even think of the name of the song right now. But that did not make it on the soundtrack, and I don't know why. They never say, I never found any reason as to why that wasn't on there. But then, hold on a second. Try a Little Tenderness. Could not think of the name of that song because all I could think of is Her Shabby Dress. And I knew that had nothing to do with it. But there is also a band that plays in the background of the movie one night in the club. And the band is literally called The Rave Up. And there's 2 songs that they do that are not included in the soundtrack, which is really strange because there will be a point where we're going to get to a movie soundtrack that has a band in it that became like a favorite band of mine, which is another one of those little obscure things. But sometimes Amy, Melissa and I were talking about this, and we were talking about movies that are about the music as much as the movie, or the plot line is centered around music somehow. And there's a couple of things. Not only does that appeal to me in general, so we were talking about our list of favorite movie songs, but then there's soundtracks too, where we bought the soundtrack because it's so good. This is one of those for me. There were enough songs on this that I got it, but I really would have loved to have Rave Up on there too, because that was an original band, a lot more obscure. And from what I could hear from the club, it was definitely the kind of music that I liked. So there's some weird connection where I think the lead singer of the band eventually dated Molly Ringwald's sister or something like that, but just for some good gossipy trivia for you. So that is, well, okay, before I totally end this, I'm going to say of the John Hughes movies that were kind of around that, they were called the Brat Pack. as a takeoff on the Rat Pack. At some of the members that are in that were in these movies, some of them weren't. It's a very weird thing. And then there's the whole thing, and I don't even want to know, so no one tell me. Whatever the issue is with 16 Candles, yeah, I just don't even want to know. I know what the movie was to me as a teenager at that time watching that movie, and there were a lot of good things that it did do. So I don't even want to hear about how bad that one is. Pretty in Pink was more difficult to relate to, I think. The Breakfast Club was easy. You could pick out the tropes easy for the characters. 16 Candles was a romantic fantasy in most cases, but it did at least make you stop and think about the people that you maybe saw in passing in the hallway or glanced over or whatever, but you didn't know. And so it kind of at least opened your mind a little bit to seeing people around you, which that was blown wide open with Breakfast Club. Now, in this movie, the original ending was not the same. The original ending had Andy, the main character, actually choosing her best friend, Ducky, as opposed to the rich guy, Blaine. And Ronnie Ringwald was sick during the filming of this. So when they were doing that and seeing she actually, apparently she was so sick, she had the flu or something really bad. She had fainted while they were doing that prom scene at the end. And so I don't know if that translated with the cameras or what, but they did test it with an audience. And the audience wasn't happy about it. They came out saying she picked the wrong guy, that she should have gone for Blaine, who was the one that was not in her class and not in the same social circle and blah, 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 whatever. So it was redone so that the ending was that way. But if you go find the book, because apparently there's a book out there, and I have not read this, the way the book was written was with that original ending. So there were some different cracks in there about, yeah, it would have been quite the shock had you seen the movie first and then read the book, because it doesn't end the same way it was originally intended to. And I don't know, from my understanding, just because of the way it was talked about, the book was written like after the movie was written, before it was like cast and filmed and whatever, I think. But when they knew they were doing this, I think they pushed to get the book out so that it could be on the shelves around the same time that it was released in the theaters or something like that. That wasn't uncommon. There were several books that came out where the movie wasn't written about the book. The book was written based on the script. So it wasn't giving you a whole lot of depth, I didn't think. I think that movies that are based on books give you, with any luck, I'm not going to say everything because I've seen A Clockwork Orange, but they give you a little bit more of a character's thoughts that go beyond just the dialogue. You get a lot more of the internalized monologuing, things like that. So I think those round out characters a little better and give a little more depth. The ones that were written based on the movies, yeah, it was basically like a script for like a play. I mean, that's kind of how they come across to me in reading them. So I never bothered with the book. Like I said, this is not my favorite of the John Hughes movies, but there is one movie that doesn't get thought of in this group fairly often, and that is Some Kind of Wonderful. And so the standing joke is, because it didn't work out to put Andy with Ducky in this one, he ended up doing it with I can't remember Mary Stuart Masterson's character's name from Some Kind of Wonderful. But anyway, he did it with the two main characters there, where the ones from the same social class that had always been friends did end up together. And the girl that he had been chasing this whole time grew a conscience, a spine, a something. But she ended up not being a bad character. She wasn't the just stuck-up snobby girl. So they were saying that he got the ending that he had originally wanted for Pretty in Pink with Some Kind of Wonderful. And apparently there is another movie out there that was never made. And I don't know if it was supposed to, I know it was another Molly Ringwald, but I do not know if it was also John Cryer. But there was another John Hughes movie that never did get made, and I don't know if there's anything that's ever going to happen with it. It's always that, oh, well, maybe we'll still get one more from the late, great John Hughes. Well, those of us that love the late, great John Hughes are older now, too. So I'm not quite sure how that would play. that doesn't always come across well. And considering that all of those movies were very, very 80s movies, I'm not sure how that would, it would have to be like a retro movie or something. It couldn't possibly be set current times with all of that stuff. I mean, even though his theming is pretty universal, I just don't see it working that way. So it'd have to be a period piece. Anyway, that is everything you never wanted to know about the song Pretty in Pink. And I didn't go too far into the psychedelic furs. Usually I give you an entire historical background on the band, but like I said, this is a song they're known for, but not their most famous. So it was more about the song title and the movie that went with it than it was just the band this time. So now you know more than you needed to about those of us who lived through the John Hughes era, the John Hughes movies, and the soundtrack for Pretty in Pink. Thank you so much for spending all your time with me. I truly do appreciate it. And until the next time I see you or you see me, whichever the case may be, see ya. Bye.